Hello, my name's Vic Gilgis, and I'm doing these little podcasts to help you if I can. And today I want to talk about the purpose of your life. When I was a young man, and I suppose one of the reasons I'm doing this video is because I'm doing it for my grandkids, who probably know what the purpose of their life is anyway. So, but I hope this helps, and for everyone else as well. But I say my grandkids because when I was their age, I wasn't concerned with the purpose of my life. I was kind of at the time getting on with life and was not particularly enjoying myself. And oh, by the way, I ought to say, and I'm not saying right at the beginning, that I think the purpose of your life is to use it, get on with it, because you're given life. It's very important that you do this because a lot of people don't see that it is there to be enjoyed and to be made the most of because we've been given this opportunity. I think the problem is that we don't go about doing that in ways that gets us there. We seem to get blocked. In fact, sometimes we never even consider it because we're that busy just getting on with it. But there is a good way. It's there, it exists, and that's why I'm talking about this. So going back to when I was a young man, I would be 15 years of age, going to work at an aircraft factory, helping make aircraft. I was an apprentice fitter, and I remember I used to get off the train and walk down this lane to an aircraft factory called Blackburn Aircraft, which is now British Aerospace. And the lane was called Skilling's Lane. And somebody had rubbed the S off at the beginning and the S off at the end, so it was called Killing Lane. And that was very apt because we used to trudge along this lane, and I mean trudge, getting fed up because what awaited us was in my case, pushing a file at 7:30 in the morning when I'd already gotten up early to get a bus and a train just to get to the place. So I did not consider what the purpose of my life was then. I was probably too thick to do that, or too in my head with other things, like what I've just mentioned. So that's how it was. I was just doing it. And what I didn't realise that I was, although I didn't like, I don't want to say I didn't like my job, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know why I was there, really. I think, what I'm saying is that I did very well with that company. They were good to me and I was good to them. And because of that, I started to find the purpose of my life, although initially it didn't seem to be anything to do with that. What is the purpose of our life? Well, I found that the purpose of my life eventually was in realising that I was not happy with my life, and then finding something that made me happier, and it was doing something that resonated with me, something that in my case later on, because there were many what I call other purposes that I had, whilst I liked writing management games later on, because that just kind of was a thing that I got great pleasure in doing. I found I was good at it and I enjoyed it, and all the rest of it. But when I got into what I'm doing now, I've been doing this for many years. I found that I realised I'd found my purpose, and my purpose was I suppose, helping myself become more content, more at peace, more happy or happier, and also and importantly, being able to help others do that. So I was doing something that was coming from the heart, coming from what resonated with me. And when I say resonated with me, when I was doing what came to me to do naturally, and realised I was fulfilling that desire I've just said, time passed. I felt like a light went on inside, like a ding, bingo. Oh, I just love doing this. And I didn't need paying for it. I didn't need any recognition for it. It just made me happy. So I think the one of the things why people don't get this is because they get up in their head with what they think they ought to be doing, and the ego comes in here. The ego says, well, you should be pursuing this for more money or more recognition or etc., etc. Whatever it is that you think the world or yourself, your mind tells you should be doing. And I would say that that is not your purpose, because well, you'll know that the feeling that you get when you're doing stuff when you're on purpose is totally different. It comes from inside, not from what the ego is telling you should do, that the outside tells you, or your mind tells you to do. Because your mind, and I'm talking about your mind, is in charge of your thinking. It's not the real you. It is kind of trying to help you and trying to point you in the direction of your purpose, of what it thinks, and you are not that. So that coming from our mind, we can often be conflicted, because again, it's not our real purpose. It is a purpose that the mind has invented for us, and that can make you weak, because you're not coming from within your power. You're not coming from your authentic self, where you're starting to feel right. It's a case of mistaken identity, really, because you are not who you think you are. And certainly when you're on purpose, you are. It doesn't matter really, because you're just doing what is you. So I think chasing what your mind often tells you to do is chasing fool's gold. And we've got to, I think it helps if we wake up to that. Now, often we cannot do what is our purpose, because we've got to go out and earn money, or pay the gas bill. We've got commitment to other people, we've got other things to do, so we can't always be doing what we would like to do. But I kind of would like to just say that yes, you can. In other words, when I had a full-time job outside of my normal 9 to 5 hours, I was pursuing in those days writing and doing this type of stuff, running courses, giving talks. When I think of my father was a driver. That was his full-time job, 9 to 5. And that's hard work all day in the traffic. But yet, on a night time, he became a variety artist in pubs and clubs. And then when he got older, a compere. And how did that happen? Well, there was no karaoke in those days of my father being a young man, but he went into a pub with my mother one night. Somebody asked for someone to sing, And basically, I think the people in the pub goaded my dad, to get up and sing, and he did, and people liked it and they clapped. And because my father had got that recognition that then he needed, don't we all? He was attracted by that and he liked it, and he found out he was good at it. It was a thing that was within him that he could tap into that he didn't hitherto know of. And it was the same with my mother. My mother wanted to be a pianist. She couldn't afford the training. She had to get on with bringing up 3 kids in wartime conditions. And when I asked my mum about this, did you fulfill your purpose? Her answer was, I suddenly got it when I realised that being a mum in the war years was the most important thing. So that was her purpose. And there's nothing wrong in that. It's great. So that's why I'm doing this, to help you. We often, going back to the ego, we don't do what we are or get on with our beingness because a good example here is the nail varnish metaphor, that we think we're a piece of poo, and because of that, we put nail varnish on it to, look good to the world. And in actual fact, underneath all that, you take the nail varnish off, underneath all that poo, we are diamonds. We have, that is us. Underneath it all, we are good. And that's what I'm saying, is that underneath it all, underneath the ego, underneath what you think is your identity, and again, I'll repeat that, it's a case of mistaken identity, because the real you is inside. The real you is not in your head. And when you're doing that, you get on with life and you're on purpose. And I think it's nice if we can realise that when we are on purpose, because we're doing what resonates with us, we're tapping into our life energy. When we're chasing around, as I said earlier, after the fool's gold, with the mind telling us what it thinks we should do, we just, we're not running on the mains, we're running on batteries, as it were, in comparison. So it is nice to be on purpose. I think I've said everything I wanted to say. You'll know it when you feel it. It is divine, I think, because it's coming from within and it's coming from who you really are, and you'll know it when you see it. It's beautiful. It's there is your inner strength. There is where your inner light is. Oh yes, that's what I was trying to think of. I've got a quote to read. It's a Rumi quote. Right. To embrace the purpose of your life, you have to let yourself be silently drawn by the stronger pull of what you really love. That's it. That's good. So there you are. Rumi says it better than me. Doing what you really love, and let yourself. That's very important there. It says let yourself be silently drawn. In other words, open up. Get away from your headband, your mind. Get out of your mind, as it were. Get out of what your thought system to just do, drawn by the stronger pull of what you really love. And that is a way of embracing the purpose of your life, which you've all got, we've all got. And it's lovely when we're doing it, because we know when we're doing it. But often we're doing other things that are not the same, because of all sorts of reasons, because we think we should be doing it and because we think we're too busy, but we're never too busy. For the most important thing of our life is to be enjoying life and be in the flow of life, not out of the flow when we're doing something really that we just have to do, because we can always get back into, even if it's a blinking hobby, get into doing what we want to do. So I'll close on that. I hope it's been helpful. I've gone on a bit. Thank you very much.